Zebec's death is drawing near. In the latest chapter of the manga, it was indirectly revealed that the traitor among the Rock's pirates was actually Wang Z. Since he was shown counting money, it seems like this was the reason behind his kidnapping of Shakky. The death of Don Marlon, we assume, was merely collateral damage. In other words, Don Marlon probably witnessed Wang Z's act of kidnapping Shakky. And since Don Marlon had already learned too much, Wang Z took action and killed him. Speaking of Shakky, it was very clear on the faces of the pirates in Chinosu how devastated they were by her abduction. The same goes for Gloriosa, who couldn't stop crying when she heard the news. She was likely the most affected by this, since we know how much she regarded Shakky as her little sister. Aside from Gloriosa, we also saw Roger's fury when he heard the news. He even released his Haki out of anger. And if we think that Shakky's beloved Rayleigh wouldn't be affected, we're mistaken, because the concern was written all over his face. Since Garling also showed interest in wanting to win over Shakky, I assume he was the one who clashed with her during the God Valley incident. This also fits with Scopper Gaban, because it turns out Saint Summers was with Garling at that moment. And in recent chapters it was revealed that Summers knew Gaban, as if the two of them shared some history. That's why it's likely they also clashed at some point in the God Valley incident. Speaking of the God Valley incident, at the moment Garling announced that the tournament would begin, he attempted to kill the mother of his children. This was a brutal act if you think about it, because after he got what he wanted, he treated the mother of Shanks as nothing more than trash that he could discard anywhere. Because of Garling's ideology, this also opens the possibility that his son, Shamrock, could take the same kind of actions. This possibility that a woman would be used only to bear children and then killed afterward makes us wonder if perhaps Bonnie's father could actually be Shamrock. Could he be the mysterious man who impregnated Ginny? Anyway, moving on to Dragon, it was revealed that he was among the Marines who charged into God Valley. Oda clearly emphasized in these panels how Dragon was a right-use kind of person. In other words, Dragon wasn't someone who blindly followed orders. He preferred to weigh the situation first and decide whether the action was truly right or not. These vibes are obviously very similar to what we see in Kobe, which is why it's no surprise that Garp sacrificed his own life just to save Kobe. Why? Because it's very possible that Garp sees in Kobe the younger version of his son, Dragon, and he doesn't want history to repeat itself the way Dragon quit the Marines. He doesn't want the same thing to happen to Kobe. Another detail worth noting in Dragon's design is his armband, an armband that we later know he will tattoo onto his face. So this makes us wonder, what exactly does that symbol mean? Is it connected to a secret Marine organization like SWORD? Or is it related to his own lineage? It's also striking how Dragon's face bears a strong resemblance to Luffy's Gear 4 form, specifically Snakeman. Based on Dragon's status in this chapter, shown holding a gun and reporting to a higher commander, we can assume that he didn't yet have any devil fruit powers at this time. But since later in the chapter we saw him encounter Shanks' mother, and we know that baby Shanks would eventually end up inside a treasure chest that Roger's crew would pick up, we can assume that the devil fruit inside that same chest was the one Dragon eventually ate. Meaning, as of now we have 6 devil fruits that are candidates for the prizes of the God Valley incident. But since Oda updated this detail in the latest chapter, it's revealed that instead of just 6, as we originally saw in chapter 1096, there are actually 9 treasure chests. So we'll make a separate video to go deeper into these updated devil fruit prizes. Later on, it was revealed that it wasn't just Ginny alone who spread word about the upcoming God Valley incident. She actually had help from a young Big News Morgans. In other words, Ginny was the one who set things up, while Morgans was the one who broadcasted it. Back to the Rock's pirates. Zebec decided that they would indeed go to God Valley. We already know there were 2 reasons for this. First, to save his wife and child, and second, to rescue Shakky. The nervousness on Wang Z's face was very noticeable when Zebec made this decision. Why? Because if Shakky were to see him there, she would definitely point him out as the one who kidnapped her. That's why I doubt Wang Z would really go to God Valley at all. As for the possibly final conversation between Zebec and King Harold, this scene can be compared to the last conversations we've seen between Whitebeard and Roger, or Shanks and Whitebeard, sharing drinks while talking about the connections between their inevitable deaths. Here, Zebec revealed to Harold some of his secret information. I believe that in this moment, Zebec shared these secrets because he could already sense that something major was about to happen at God Valley. In other words, he had a premonition that this might be his last conversation with his friend Harold. And I think Harold felt the same way too, which is why he allowed Zebec to leave. One of the things Zebec revealed was the truth about his real name and his ancestor David D. Jones. This information is extremely important, because it makes us realize just how legendary the island of God Valley truly is. Since Zebec mentioned that this was his homeland, It's very likely that the island of God Valley itself is connected to the events of the Void Century, especially considering Zebec's ancestor was David Jones. In the final part of this chapter, we even saw a very young Blackbeard together with his mother, while the Celestial Dragons announced details about their race, the Davy clan. Which means it's no longer surprising that aside from Shanks, who Dragon possibly saved, it could also turn out that Dragon saved Blackbeard as well. Overall, it's absolutely mind-blowing that the major characters we now know to be relevant in the upcoming final war all turn out to be connected to the God Valley incident 38 years ago. The character that really stood out to me the most, and I know many of you will agree, was of course Zebec. Yes, there is certainly a glimpse of evil in his personality. But as this flashback continues, and we get to know him more deeply, we can also see that he has a side of goodness within him. Take, for example, his decision to go to God Valley. He wasn't going there just for Shakky, unlike others. He was going because he truly wanted to save his wife and child. And because of this, Zebec earned my respect. So how about you? What do you think about Zebec's character? If you have any thoughts or ideas, don't hesitate to drop them down in the comment section below so we can talk about it together. That's all for now. Peace.